Alright guys, Tina here with Next Step Streaming, and tonight I'm actually kind of really excited about this topic. Um, so I'm gonna dive right in. Niche streamers versus variety streamers, and I call them niche streamers because they really didn't have a title before, a name before, at least that I knew of. They might out there in the world, but I've never heard it. Usually it's the people that stick on one game and they do not budge. They stick there and they become known for that game. Their viewers know that game. That is their life. And then you have variety that obviously variety is the spice of life. They bounce around to different games. They kind of have different things going on. People want to know the pros and cons between variety and niche, and they want to understand how to make the transition from niche to variety or variety to niche. And so many times you hear, well, when I bounce to a different game, I see a huge drop in numbers, and it's impossible to be partnered as a variety streamer, and it's so much easier as a niche streamer, and so and so has it easier than so and so. Well, that's a load of crap, and I'm about to tell you how to kind of make the transition a little bit easier and the pros and cons to either one. So right off, the pros and cons, so then you can decide what you want to be, because you can succeed at both. You just have to do it right. So when it comes to niche streaming, you are picking one game. You are becoming the professional of that game. You are known for that game. You are owning that game. You are playing that game every single day, and you are not even looking at another game when you're streaming. And that's fine. That is what the community is getting to know you about. They are becoming comfortable. They are relying on you for that information. People are coming to you, for the cutting edge news, because they know if anyone would know, you would know, because this is your game. Then you have variety. Variety is a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more fluid. Doesn't have to worry about burning out because trying a bunch of different things. Just can kind of embrace everything. There's nothing holding them back. Niche will usually actually grow faster, but will hit a wall very, very quickly, because unless for some reason that game is just constantly pulling new viewers, you are pulling from one pool of numbers, and once you dry up that pool of numbers of viewers, you're not going to grow any further than what that game is bringing to your channel. As a variety, oh my god, the world is your freaking oyster. You can get viewers anywhere, because wherever you go, whatever game you play, it's a whole new community to break into. Now, niche, much cheaper. You only have to buy one game, you have to play one game, and you get used to one game. Variety, a little bit more expensive. You're constantly buying new games. You have to be on the cutting edge. You got to be aware of when things are going on. Niche. Now, some of the kind of things against niche is along with hitting a wall pretty early on, you as a streamer, and I never want to assume, but there's a great potential of being burned out. As a streamer, you're only playing one thing every single day. I mean, how much can you really wring from a game? You're gonna have days where you're like, oh my god, I don't even want to think about that game. I need a break. It's frustrating me, it's triggering me, or there's nothing left. I'm kind of bored with it. And you're also kind of relying on that game. God forbid that game crumbles. God forbid that game, that company doesn't do something or make a crazy bad announcement that all of a sudden nobody wants to be associated with. You're really putting a lot of eggs in your basket and confidence that this game, this environment is going to always be there. With variety, also the cons with variety being, you never really become really well known for a game. You know what I mean? So, people aren't going to be like, oh, that's a streamer that plays so and so. They're like, oh, that's a streamer. And if you don't have that, that flavor text of what games you have behind it, that's not really getting anyone's attention. Such as when somebody raids my channel, I'm like, oh, that's so and so, they're playing this game, I know they're so good at this game. People are going to be more inclined to check out that person than me being like, oh, thank you for that raid, so and so. I have no idea what games you're playing now, but great streamer, check them out. just it's because like the viewers have nothing to kind of relate to. Now I know that, and as a streamer now, when I give shout outs, I try to always have something to say that would allow my viewers to kind of relate to them, to kind of check out. But that's a whole nother video. So, you know, being a variety streamer, like, people don't really know where to place you. You're just kind of all over the place. So these are some pros and cons, and I mean, I could kind of go on all day about the pros and cons, but you as a streamer have to sit down and say, you know, can I play one game all the time? You know, do I want the comfort of knowing what game I want to play every day? Because it is stressful sometimes when you wake up and you're like, oh my God, what game do I play today? You know, like, what game is going to help grow my channel? If you're a niche, you're like, oh, that's not even a decision. Like, that's already made, right? So there's a lot going on. I think my first piece of advice when it comes to you deciding whether you want to be a niche or variety streamer is talk to niche and variety streamers. Talk to somebody who has only streamed one game their entire career as a streamer. Ask them, you know, how do you like it? What are the pros and cons? How are you feeling? Then go to a streamer that has lived variety. Talk to streamers that started out niche and then went to variety. You know, talk to successful streamers. Talk to streamers that are kind of stalled out. You know, get to learn through people's experiences on where you want to be as a streamer. Now, that being said, if you start out as a niche streamer, which almost everybody does, right? Nobody really should, when they start streaming, do a different game like Everyday Rapid Fire or something. Usually what happens, and obviously like there's always an exception to the rule, is somebody will pick a game that they love playing and they're like, man, I can be really good at streaming this, and they start streaming it. And they stream it for a week, and they stream it for 2 weeks, and they stream it for 3 weeks, and they stream it for 4 weeks, and then 3 months later they're still streaming that game because that's what they're comfortable with. And then they start to get burned out, and then they're like, man, I want to try this variety thing, you know, and they come on and they pick a different game and they go live and nobody shows up. Then they play it another day and nobody shows up, and they're like, what the frick am I doing? And they go right back to that game and they get comfortable. And then all those viewers come back and they're like, oh, thank God. Like, you know, that was terrifying. I never want to do that again. I'm never changing this game again. You know, it's scary to kind of take that jump, and then all of a sudden you just sink and, you know, you go back to what you're comfortable with. So usually that's what happens. That's usually what creates a niche streamer. I don't know too many people that are like, oh, I never want to stream any other game, the game I'm playing. Usually it's through, you know, experiences that really kind of hammer home those niche streamers. They get really comfortable and it's scary. So if you are a niche streamer or find yourself being a niche streamer and you want to break into variety, and you are terrified of dropping all of your viewers and losing all your viewers, or you have done that and you've lost all your viewers and you're going back to your niche game, here are a few tips that I've learned as a variety streamer that will help you. One, if you can help it, never, ever, ever, ever from the very beginning, never play a game for more than a week or two. The reason being is, if you play it longer than a week or two, people start to rely on you as that game. They start to get comfortable. They get in a routine. They expect, they get to pay. They get more invested in the game. You kind of fall to the background. The game starts to come forward. So they start to get attached to that game. So then when all of a sudden after 3-4 weeks you stop that game, they leave. So don't play a game for longer than a week or two. If you are like, well, why am I not then bouncing every other day? Play a game for at least a week or two. Do not bounce every other day. Don't even bounce every 2 days or 3 days, or don't have 2 days of one game and 1 day of another one and 2 games. You want to know why? Because of keeping reoccurring concurrent viewers. Say you're a viewer and you're like, man, I'm really, really enjoying this game, and they just started and then they're building. And then they go through this thing and they survive. And then they're like, okay, guys, this is the end of the stream. And it's like right on the cusp of figuring out what happens. And then the next day, they go to a completely different game. And you're like, I was so invested in yesterday's play, and you're playing a different game. I'm going to watch somebody that was playing the game that you got me invested in. Like, I can't handle all this wishy-washy stuff. So if you play a game for a good week or two, it's not too long that they become reliant on the game, but it's not too short that they don't become invested in what is going on in the game. That's what keeps pulling them back. You know, people see that, and then the next day they're back. They're like, oh my gosh, okay, you almost died yesterday. Are you going to be able to survive today? You know, there's that excitement. There's that draw to come back. It's like reading a book. You know, you don't read a book halfway through and then say, all right, I'm done with this plot. Let's read another book. No, you want to finish that book. You want to finish that book and then go to another book. So that's where the weekend, 2 weeks at most is a really, really, really great area. Now, if you're like, oh, let me turn this video off because I've already gone past that, that limit. I've been, a niche streamer for 3 months, 3 years, whatever. This is how you can kind of transition without losing your viewers. So you need to build up trust with your viewers that they are indeed there for you and not the video game. This is how. Play the video game that you're used to. Don't go cold turkey. That's crazy. Keep playing the game that they're used to, but within the last hour, the last 2 hours, slowly transition to another game. Let them know. Give them a heads up. Don't kind of just like freak them out. Like, get them comfortable and be like, guys, I'm really looking forward to trying this game. I really want you there with me. It's only for an hour. We'll see. And then tomorrow we're going back to our usual, but let's try something else. They will, and you will see a few drops, but they have that reassurance that you are going to be back to the normal tomorrow. So you go and you play the last hour. Some people stay, some people leave. Do that for like a week, and then the next day during your normal stream, be like, guys, oh my god, like that game last night, we did that last hour. Like, can you believe this happened and this happened, and I'm really liking this and I'm really digging this. Spur their curiosity to stay that last hour again. So like an hour is just enough to be like, yo, stick it out, check it out. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be a 4 hour, 6 hour, 8 hour stream of something different. It's just like this little hour, just check it out. Trust me, right? Before the end of the week, before they realize it, you start expanding a little bit more of the other game, doing a little bit of the last game. They're like, oh, okay, I'm digging this. I'm liking how this person reacts to this. I'm liking how this guy plays this play style. I like this. Another thing to kind of help is don't go from one genre to another genre. Try to keep it, you want this transition as smooth as possible. If you are a super competitive FPS player, do not go and play chess as your next game, right? Keep it the same. Go from Fortnite to PUBG. From PUBG to H1Z1. To H1Z1 to 7 Days to Die. 7 Days to Die to Forest. Forest to Oxygen Not Included. Oxygen Not Included to Surviving Mars. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm doing FPS to survive, to zombie, to survival to management. Before you know it, you are opening up an entire new genre for your players, but you're easing them into it each step of the way. Along with just doing small bursts, builds up their trust that they are there for you and not the game themselves. And I guess, finally, don't be afraid to kind of take a little bit of a hit. Don't be afraid to kind of rip off the Band-Aid, because the idea is you are leaving one community, bringing some of your community, and breaking into a whole new community. So if you lose 3, 10, 20 concurrent, you should be breaking into community. That should be bringing you 3, 10, 20, 50, 100 new concurrent, new eyes, new choices. And you as a streamer may be a much more healthy environment because you're not stuck in one game. So you gotta look long term, and you got to give it time. If you've been playing the same game for 3 years, you can't expect to do this transition in 3 days and expect everything to be hunky-dory. It's just not like that. Even me as an established variety streamer, I do see, dips and balances and jumping around. There was a moment too where sometimes variety streamers get into this kind of routine, and I've done it myself, where we're jumping too much too fast. It was a different game every day. And that harkens back to the advice I gave, that you're not really getting that investment in viewers, because they're just like, I was really invested in that playthrough, and now you're playing, you went from playing, Outlast to The Sims. Like, there's this huge disconnect. Like, and me as a streamer, like, I made that mistake, and I recognize that, and I'm bringing that to you guys, and that's where the whole transitioning kind of comes along. Going from niche to variety is terrifying, and going from even variety to niche is kind of terrifying, because you're gonna have these people that come in, whether you're going from niche to variety streamer. Oh, why aren't you playing this game? Or, oh, did you quit this game? Or, oh, I only watch you while you played this game. Listen, just be be calm, be assertive and clear in your intentions, and just communicate. Oh yeah, I decided, I'm a little burned out from that game. I'm definitely not quitting it. I'll be going back to it. I'll be revisiting it. It's just on my kind of cycle of games I play through. I really appreciate you supporting me there with that game. You know how like you really liked how I was really into survival in this game? Well, actually, check out this new game, dude. I'm really into survival in this game, and the same things we learned from that game is transitioning to this game. Hold their hand to try different things. Like, think of yourself as a viewer. How would you react if somebody was jumping around? Somebody that you were comfortable with? Or how would you react if somebody was jumping around and then all of a sudden settled on a game for the rest of their streaming career? It's kind of scary, you know what I mean? So you just got to communicate. You got to be confident in yourself, and you got to tell your chat what's going on. Hopefully these tips help. Hopefully you'll see a little bit less drop when you do try transitioning. If you need any pointers, one-on-one help, one-on-one coaching is very important when it comes from niche to variety streaming, because it really can make or break a channel if not done correctly. And I've seen too many people say, listen, I went variety and I went from 100 concurrent to I'm lucky to get 10 concurrent now, and I lost all my subs because they were only subbed to me because of this game. And and I'm like, well, what happened? Well, I just completely changed games. I just totally like woke up one day and I stopped playing that game and I'm playing this game, and I thought they would come with me, and unfortunately, that's just not how that works. And I'm here to kind of help you guys with that. So please reach out to me. I would love to talk to you about your situation, because every situation is very personal. It's very different. There's always something, something that you might say, and I might be like, oh geez, like you changed the genre too quick, or you should have eased a little bit slower into it. You got to be patient with it. So it's just sometimes it's it's helpful to have somebody kind of remind you to slow your roll and be a little bit easier with it, or be a little bit more aggressive with, yes, you need to change. So guys, please always reach out to me. Email me at nextstepstreaming@gmail.com. I'm on Twitter at nextstepstream, and I do have the website at nextstepstreaming.com, where you can book a phone call with me. Let's talk about it. Call me up and be like, yo, I went from niche to variety. I lost all my viewers. Help me out. And we will set a plan for you to get them back and make your channel even better, because there's no reason why you can't. If you succeeded in one community, you could succeed in more communities, and I'm here to help you guys. So I wish you all the best of luck. Don't be terrified. Don't be scared. Everything's going to be okay. We're going to make it bigger and better and greater. And I wish you guys the courage to kind of experiment yourselves and venture out there. So I look forward to hearing from you guys. Have a great night. Bye.